Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, episode number 6. I am so far in on this show. I cannot even begin to explain how far in I am on this show. There are two shows on TV right now, this show and Ted Lasso, where every time they're over, I'm like, it's over already? You guys said so much more. You could have told me.
This is my favorite episode of the season so far. They did such a good job just pulling at my heartstrings, developing these relationships. That whole scene with Kanan and Jukebox at the bathroom, knowing how it ends, they just did such a good job in this episode, just bringing these relationships to the next level.
Yeah, I loved so much about this episode. I will admit, I have one complaint that I'm sure we will get to at some point in this episode.
Yourself out.
It's a very minor complaint because the rest of the episode I think is just consistently outstanding. It's
yes,
all of these pieces that we have been kind of getting to see over the course of this season, so many of them came together. Even the little things like Nicole meeting, Kanan and spending some time with Famous, who's of course trying to hit on her. It's all of this stuff just gave me just a good laugh.
Okay, I do have one small beef with this episode, but it is still my favorite episode so far of the season.
All right. Well, I guess, do we start here by pouring one out for Scrappy, R.I.P.?
And this is my beef with the episode,
okay.
the small one that I have. I had a hard time believing that in the last episode that Unique was really going to believe that Scrappy had left Rock and that he was really, I'm with you guys now, this is how it's going to be. I just felt Rock should have picked somebody who wasn't so close to her that she trusts so much. I mean, Unique knew. He knew when Scrappy walked in the door. And of course, in this episode, now Scrappy is gone. I just feel that Rock should have known that she was basically sending Scrappy to his death. She needed to pick somebody who maybe was growing with her and growing with her group, that she was able to sort of know that she could trust this person, but not everyone knew that this person was sort of one of her right-hand men. It was just a poor Scrappy.
I just tried for the past 10 seconds here to figure out, okay, how could Rock have gone about this? Could she have brought in somebody, I don't know, maybe a month or two before this, maybe got them in some team building exercises for a few weeks, didn't put them out there for everyone to see, made sure she trusted them. I'm sure it's very difficult to find the person you're going to throw into the lion's den, but you probably could have picked somebody a little bit more discreet.
Yeah, I feel like if she really had taken someone who was lower in the organization that she had some sort of trust with, I think Unique might have bought it that person was turning on Rock, maybe. But I mean, Unique's a really smart guy. He doesn't really trust that easily. It would have had to have built a lot longer than it did. The fact that they didn't tell Scrappy that they were going to hit this showcase, that they were going to hit Lou, tells me that Unique just was never going to give him, he was never going to have a chance. It was just not happening.
We're going to get into the showcase because there's so much great stuff that I love in here. But before we do, if you guys enjoy this discussion, there's that subscribe button. Why not hit it? Why not give us a like as well? And we really appreciate you guys for hanging out with us every week to talk about Raising Kanan.
And also follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. Okay, I have to talk about my absolute favorite moment from this episode, which is the conversation between Kanan and Jukebox. So we had Famous getting ready to do the showcase. Jukebox was going to be singing with him. And then she has stage fright. She's locked herself in the bathroom. The only person that can get through is Kanan. That talk that they had, he's apologized for what he said. You can tell he really feels bad. They're reminiscing about other times that, they've had to go through this. And you see how close the relationship is. And then he says, I always got you. And I was like, oh no, I know how this ends, so that's not true, but it was so heartfelt and so real, and just the connection between them. I know they're family, but I mean, it's so deep that now that we know how it ends, I'm just like, oh, how did they get there? Like, how did they get there? Obviously, I've watched Power. I know how they got there, but it's just kind of like, what happened in this time that he would make a choice over Jukebox of how close they are?
The thing that I was really kind of listening for and sort of watching in that scene was, how Mekhi Curtis, who's just a brilliant actor for playing young Kanan, but like how much his enunciation, his delivery sort of like mirrors 50 Cent. I was just like watching, it's like, this actually really feels like a young 50 delivering this speech. Like, I fully believed it. I was in on it. I was in on like every single moment of everything that happens at this showcase. I love that, we got Famous up there with Jukebox doing their song, and, we've got the danger coming in, and this is pieced together. It's just oh no, things are going down sort of way.
There was a very sort of meta moment in there where we had young Kanan watching Famous on stage, singing about things that he's never done, and then we had this amazing voiceover from 50 where, I mean, we all know 50's history, his background. He's been fairly open about it. He's talked about it many times over the years. And to sort of have this voiceover from him saying that there are all these rappers out here that are rapping about things they've never seen, they've never done, they've never participated in, and then him sort of being like, you see what I did there? I was just like, yes. And then you have this moment with Kanan himself, who has just started to experience some of these things. He has just started to see some of these things, and him having that same realization of Famous up there singing about things that he hasn't seen, where Kanan himself, the character, has now seen some of these. It was 10 out of 10. It was so well done.
I love how, like, just darkly funny at times this show is, because that narration did make me laugh. And also, Marvin. I love the whole thing where Marvin is told to, actually care about Jukebox at one point during this episode. And then, like, he's at the showcase being like, that's my daughter. That's just he is totally, like, it's sort of just like the, when you go to, like, the soccer game and, like, your kid scores a goal and you're up there just, like, screaming and, like, celebrating all of it. But I feel like Marvin is just as much celebrating himself in that moment as he is Jukebox. And I don't know why. It just made me laugh.
Marvin is great.
Marvin is fantastic. Like, there are so many good characters on this show.
Yeah, of course, we do have Marvin doing Kanan a bit dirty. Kanan came up with a really smart idea of sort of how to move product and how to move it quickly in a way that it's sort of get in there, get the product, and then they're driving away, is at a gas station. And Kanan's been watching this gas station sort of see people come up, get their gas, go. That in that transaction, that there could be another transaction, obviously, through Kanan. And Marvin poo-poos this idea. Is like, nah, good initiative, but, I can't get involved with you anymore. Rock has told me no, it's a no, can't. And then later puts together his own group to steal Kanan's idea. I was like, Marvin.
Marvin doesn't like an idea unless it's his idea, or he doesn't like an operation unless he's running it. Like, that's the clear implication from all of this. I have another interesting sort of, this is just the theory with Lulu here. Is Lulu Ghost? And I mean this in the sense that Lulu's clearly not a king. He's not the kingpin. He's not the head of the operation, but clearly he is the guy who is sort of like, I can do things this way. I can have, this showcase. We're going to make our money here. Then we don't even have to do this stuff anymore. And Rock is just kind of like, you're delusional. You don't really know how things work.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of shows even that we're watching recently with Animal Kingdom. Yeah, the ghost comparison. There's always somebody on on a show that's like, I want to do things differently.
Yeah.
You know, you can't run things through this showcase. The showcase has to be clean. I want everything to be fine. You know, over on Animal Kingdom, Darren's doing the same thing. This is my bar. I bought it. You know, it's going to be legit. You can't wash your money through it. It has to just be the way that it is. It has to be the one legitimate business on the show.
This is always a part of it, but it's always interesting watching all this crumble. Like, you know, poor Lulu at this point is just reminded further, nope, these things are not separate.
No, and even Lulu going over to talk to Unique, I was kind of like, what are you doing? There's no way that Unique is going to listen to you. You guys don't have this kind of relationship that you can go over and just say, hey, I have this big thing that's really important to me tonight. Can you just leave it alone? Of course, Unique is going to be like, oh, a big important thing that's really important to you? Cool. What time? What time should I send people over there? It was just, I was kind of surprised that Lulu made that choice. Yeah. Instead of just having proper security and just don't tell Unique about it and just be ready for him in another way.
Yeah, Unique's not your friend, Lulu. I think you gotta think a couple of things through here. The thing that surprised me a little bit about all this was, I don't know why, was Nicole being there and really Nicole being around at all, because I kind of thought episode 5 was going to be sort of the end of that character, but I think I don't know why, because I was a teenager once, but I think I really underestimated the ability of teenagers to not want to listen to their parents, to go and do whatever they want regardless.
Yeah, and I get that, but I also had thought she would probably be grounded for a while, that there'd be some sort of punishment for making out at the house and all the other stuff that comes along with this. Her parents, well, especially her mom, was especially pissed off and rude and disgusting, and I thought for sure she would have grounded her. So I was really surprised that she was out, and she was out late at night at a showcase. Yeah. Like, it was all kind of like, how is this happening? She must have snuck out.
It's clearly another device that's just meant to inevitably torture us when something terrible happens to Nicole later this season, and we become even sadder for Jukebox, especially when they're like, we don't want to be with anybody else ever. And it's just like, oh no, this is going really, really, really badly.
Yeah.
But we finally, I'm going to throw something out there. I think we finally have a purpose for this Burt character on the show now. Could she be the cop mentor figure to Jukebox that eventually causes Jukebox to become a cop herself?
Yeah, I've been wondering, of course, how she's going to move from music and what's going on in her life now to actually deciding to be a cop. Like, I had sort of theorized that maybe this was going to be something that came about because she wanted to help Rock and the family organization, that they needed a cop on the inside, and Jukebox was like, okay, you know what? I'll be that cop. I'll go through the program and I will be that cop for you guys. But I mean, it's possible that she actually just gets mentored into it and wants to be a cop.
I have a lot of just thoughts about that scene where she's talking to Jukebox, because I don't know how much we should believe anything this Burt character is saying. Like, we don't know anything about her other than that, like, she comes from a line of cops and that she's Malcolm's partner. It just feels like all of this is manipulation.
Oh, Detective Howard. So, yeah, he's looking bad. Even the doctor's like, man, you're looking bad. I'm just like, Doc, you're the one who told him he's dying.
Why are you saying that?
Yeah, that's kind of mean. Oh, by the way, you're dying. Man, you look real bad. I was like, okay, what? No, okay. Yeah. So he now has spoken to the doctor to say, okay, listen, I have a son. Is this going to help me? And the doctor's, oh, yeah, it definitely could. Yeah. So where are we going to actually land with this? Is Rock actually going to help Howard? I don't know.
I'm still hesitant that she will. I still think that this is going to be a situation where Howard tries to like sneak Kanan away and spend time with them, and they develop sort of this closer relationship behind their parents' back, and all of a sudden we have the Kanan and Tariq parallels on this show to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, Rock dropped Symphony for less. Like, I just can't see that happening. She doesn't really have anything invested in Detective Howard, so I don't know.
I think it's going to be just an interesting thing to watch. I mean, clearly Malcolm's got a big role the rest of the season, even if he was just sort of sad for a good percentage of this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to get to my beef. It is,
Your beef is not the scrappy thing?
No, my beef is not the scrappy thing.
Right,
My beef is, and I like the Davina character, I do, and I like the idea of her and Kanan together, but it feels like this was really kind of rushed in a certain degree, where we've spent all this time on like the relationship with Nicole and Jukebox, where it feels like you guys just gave us like 30 seconds of Davina and Kanan at the end of the episode. She's not really around for anything else. There's been episodes where we haven't even seen that character yet. I just feel like they haven't invested us enough in this relationship.
No, I agree, which is kind of a bummer for me because I really like that actress a lot. I feel like they just don't have enough for her to do, that they needed her for what went on with the Stash House, that they needed sort of that connection to Unique and everything that's going on. But yeah, the end of this episode, him going over to Davina's house, it felt like it was kind of tacked on. I felt like there could be more build-up going on with this.
I do think it's important we end this video on a positive note, and I'm not saying I endorse anything that happened with Rock and the maintenance dude. I'm not saying that leaving his buddy and
maintenance dude. No,
it was terrible.
That was terrible. I like a good sort of revenge story. I'm fine with this. This is a positive note.
I love the story. The story was great. The setup of it was great. Having Marvin like talking to this maintenance dude who's like getting holed up in a wall and like trying to help this guy.
I don't feel bad for him whatsoever.
Oh, I don't feel bad for him. I'm not advocating for the violence, but I don't feel bad. This guy had it coming with his just ickiness and creepiness, and just like that guy sucked. It is entertaining sometimes to see people who suck get what's coming to them.
Well, Rock is in a really interesting spot right now because there's all the stuff that's happening with Dean as well. I mean, she's gotten rid of Symphony seemingly, which I'm more than fine with. The stuff with Rock that I really like is the stuff with her business, and the stuff with Kanan, like having her trying to tie his tie and having that conversation about him not having a father. Like, that's the stuff I'm watching the show for that I really, really enjoy. And then, of course, now Rock is in trouble with Dean. Dean has figured out what she did, and now she's cut off. Unique has paid over 20% to buy out Rock's stash, so Rock in a really bad spot.
I love this show. Like, I'm sad because I know we got like another 6 days to go.
No, I love the show. The show's really smart. This episode was fantastic. It really was.
Yeah, and we're clearly set up for a big revenge storyline again now in the aftermath of losing Scrappy. But okay, we'll turn this over to you guys, because what did you think about this episode? What do you think we're building towards, whether it be, with Jukebox, whether it be with Kanan, with the Unique and Rock battle? Give us all your theories. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Thank you guys so much. Check out our Animal Kingdom review later. I mean, Jess brought it up. We have a lot of fun discussing that show.
Yep, it's great.
We'll see you here next time.